Right, so we're going to do some measurements with ImageJ. I've fired it up, so I've already downloaded and installed it, and then I just had to search for my app, and I've started it. And it does look a bit weird from your usual apps because it kind of keeps everything in separate windows. So you just get this toolbar that comes up to begin with, and then you have to open a picture. So I'm going to go to File and then Open, and then pick a crab to take a measurement from. Okay, and we haven't got all ideal files in this crab data because some of the angles and things are a bit funny. Ideally, what you need to be is right above the specimen and have the scale right next to it. Otherwise, you get distortion. So, for example, here, we've got the claw coming out into the screen. That's going to be distorted. The crab's not too bad because it's sitting just above the ruler, but if it was a bit further back, the perspective thing would be making the measurements inaccurate. Anyway, just to point that out. Right, so the first thing we need to do is to calibrate this image and set a scale. So you can use the little hand tool here to move your crab around if you need to. I can zoom in using the plus and minus, or the little thing here, the magnifying glass. Plus and minus keys are quite handy though because they're sort of good shortcuts. So for example, I can have the hand tool on, zoom in a little bit, and you might need to because some of the crabs are tiny. Okay, and this one not so much because he's quite big, chunky guy. And then I want to measure across the widest bit of the carapace. Like I said, this isn't an ideal photo because it's from the front of the crab. We should really be right above it. Anyway, I'm going to click on the line tool and just draw that. First of all, we have to set the scale. Sorry, not going across the carapace. So I need to tell ImageJ what the distance is in this photograph. So we've got a unit of scale. Could just go across 1 centimetre. I find it more accurate to go across a bit more, so I'm going to do 2. So I've just drawn across 2 centimetres. And then you go to Analyse and Set Scale. Okay, and you have to do this each time you open a new photograph. So while you're working in the same photograph, the scale should stay the same, but every time you open a new photograph, you've got to do a new one. So it's saying that line there is 701 pixels. I know it's 2 centimetres, but I'm going to put it in millimetres. So it's 20 millimetres, and the length of my unit, call it millimetres. And it's telling me down here, the scale in this image is 35 pixels to a millimetre. So I say, okay. Right now, I can use my line tool, and I can zoom out a little bit. Once I've set the scale, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're working you can zoom in or out, but it still knows that the ratio of pixels to distance is the same. But I'm going to draw across his carapace. Okay, so that's the line I want to measure. So let's just click and drag to drag the line out, and then I go to Analyze and Measure. And what you should get is this one come up. Now, I'm going to clear these first 3 because that's what I was doing earlier. So this is the measurement I've just taken here. So what you should do when you Analyze and Measure, this one, pop up this table, and you can see it's got 48.159 millimetres. So forget area and angle, that's not important in here, but we've got this measurement here. And you can take as many measurements as you wanted of an animal. So for example, if I was interested in the cheela length, I could be drawing along there. And again, I just go back to Analyze and Measure, and it would come up there, 37 millimetres. So you could just keep on taking the same measurements from one photograph. But as soon as I need to go on to the next one, close that one down. I'm not going to save it. Open up a new one. So let's say I was working with this one. This is a much better picture because I'm looking straight down on it, so you're going to get much less inaccuracy. But because I'm in a new picture, the scale is going to be all different. So I have to go to the line thing. Again, draw across my 2 centimetres and start that process again of Analyze and Set Scale. Okay, and then go through it again. So this time I've got 800 pixels to 20 millimetres. Change that to millimetres. Okay, so I've set my scale again, and now I can start taking measurements again, drawing across the carapace. Go to Analyze, Measure, and I get my new one, 26. So just remember, any new photo,